Dr. Khupe is working with us, and we have resolved the issues between us and the leadership. So next time you are going to see the two vice presidents together. You also see that some of the members of the standing committee are not present, and this is because we have been affected by the COVID and so on. Ask the mayor, the minister, why he was not setting the tribunals, and he assured me that if he thought it fit, he would set the tribunals. But we are sure that the mayor and the deputy mayor will be removed from suspension very soon. We also need a town clerk. I understand that Dr. Chonzi, who is acting right now, is asked to be given only a month. So we have pressured the mayor to make sure that we have a town clerk, an acting town clerk. We cannot appoint a substantive town clerk because the current town clerk is still available, but he has been suspended and he's facing criminal charges. All that has to be expedited. But I was happy with my engagement with the minister, and we did agree that that is the approach that we needed to take. We needed to tackle the problems of Zimbabwe together and through dialogue. And we have started dialogue with the minister, and we are waiting for his response, his positive action in this regard. We want the cases of the mayors to be dealt with as a matter of agency. I mean those cases that have to do with the suspension by the minister. I hope that the minister is going to expedite that. The local government board, the minister has to appoint the local government board. He has not done that. And as a result, we have a lot of people who are not substantive office holders at the municipality. We also noticed that although there was a strategic plan for Harare, that plan that was sponsored by the Fred Newman Foundation, it was basically abandoned after ZANU-PF thought that the implementation of that plan would benefit the MDC. So they put politics first. Ignatius Chombo and company Kasukwere, they put in politics first and abandoned the implementation of the strategic plan. We want to return to the strategic plan. And what I advised the minister is that I was going to instruct the council, the city council, to go back to the strategic plan. Of course, they have to revise it because that plan was made, I think, some time ago, and it is to be adjusted. And that plan works. And basically what we are saying is that we must separate service delivery and business of the city. And business of the city must be done by experts in business who will attract investors and so on. So I think that that plan has to be implemented. I also had an opportunity to see the former mayor who was there when that plan was being conceived, and we discussed with a view of returning Harare back to that plan. Yes, the strategic plan that I was talking about was actually conceived during the tenure of Engineer Mwonzora. And we are lucky to have him as among our leaders. We want to return to that plan. The strategic plan, other cities have implemented it and they have grown. Look at Kigali and look at Harare. The people in Rwanda religiously adhered to the plan. So we want to go back to the strategic plan. And we want to have the cooperation of central government so that we go to that strategic plan. We must implement devolution. What ZANU-PF government has done is to agree to devolution, but in practice to go against devolution. And the devolution principle is that the person who is mayor of Harare runs the metropolitan province. But this is not what is happening. We have someone else appointed on top of the mayor of Harare. That is not constitutional. The constitution says the person who is the mayor of Bulawayo or the mayor of Harare metropolitan becomes the Harare city becomes the chairperson of the metropolitan province. That is not what is happening. So from central government, we demand the immediate implementation of the devolution. We also want the return, the expediting of the cases involving the administrative cases involving the mayors. We also want the appointment of the local government board so that we deal with the substantive office holder, with the issue of people who are not substantive office holders. You have asked me about quorum, that the city is not, the cities are not able to form a quorum. That is not correct. The cities are able to form the quorum. The number of councillors that they have do form a quorum. And if the councillors don't attend to council business, it is a matter that we will deal with. But they do form a quorum. Harare does form a quorum. And the interpretation of quorum, the wrong interpretation of quorum by the, I think by the ministry, is that it should be 17. And it should be a certain percentage of the councillors and so on. The quorum is determined by the number of people who are there. So in calculating quorum, they must look at the number of councillors who are sitting and not look and not consider vacancies. That is wrong. That is a wrong way of looking at quorum. So they do form a quorum. All the cities in this country form a quorum. The fact that some councillors are not coming to do council business is being looked at by the party. Dr. Khupe is still on her way from Bulawayo. She sent a message that she was not going to make it on time for this press conference. But let me go to the actual question that you wanted to ask in that regard. Yes, Dr. Khupe is working with us, and we have resolved the issues between us and the leadership. So next time you are going to see the two vice presidents together. You also see that some of the members of the standing committee are not present, and this is because we have been affected by the COVID and so on. But Dr. Khupe is working with us. If you want to know whether she recognizes my leadership or not, she has herself told me that she does recognize the leadership. So we are very happy, we are very excited that we have been able to resolve our internal problems very, very amicably. And I'm very grateful to the maturity shown by the senior leadership of the party. We are working very, very well. And in a few weeks' time, I think we will be unveiling our strategic plan and so on. Our youth met yesterday, their National Council met yesterday, and they made far-reaching recommendations. And we are in for a very exciting time. By the way, this is the leadership. This is the very top leadership that was left by Morgan Tsvangirai. If you look at the leadership left by Morgan Tsvangirai, all except one are not with us. And that one is Nelson Chamisa. I'm talking about the top four. The other leaders, Engineer Mzuri, Senator Komichi, Madam Pariwa, Vamashakada, myself, we are intact. And we are also happy that all the trade unionists have remained with us because they understand the ideology and so on. So yes, Dr. Khupe is on her way and she is working with us. She was affected. The delay was because, as you know, she was affected by COVID, and took a lot of time to recover. And we thank God that she has recovered.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned that the government has the biggest debts, the central government has the biggest debts to council. As the party, do you have a plan to recover those debts? Because that has always been the case since, I don't know. So this time around, do you have a plan to ensure that these debts are recovered?
Yes, your name is Tafazo?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Nyigadzino, yes. Yes, we do have a plan, of course. And one of the plans is dialogue. We have to talk to them. We have to make them understand that local government will be hamstrung without the finance from government. So we are engaging the ministries, the Ministry of Local Government, to make sure that the debts are paid. And we think that that is the most feasible strategy to take. We also are lucky, as I said, we have Engineer Mzuri here, who ran Harare very, very successfully. And it is that skill that we are going to be able to use.
Yes.
My name is Blessed. Just from Heart and Soul TV and Radio and Wisdom. I just wanted to clarity. When Senator Mwonzora, you say that quorum is the number of the councillors that are sitting. So basically, let's say hypothetically, all councillors are 5, and there are only 3 councillors left. So they can sit and can form a quorum. According to your explanation, would that be realistic? Because if you limit it to the number of the people who are sitting in that capacity. Then my second question is directed to Engineer Mzuri. Engineer Mzuri, the first instance we appointed a vice president, it was challenged. Now you are again at the effect of being appointed vice president outside Congress. Are you proud to see you always have the benevolence of being appointed vice president outside the party system?
That is not a question for Engineer Mzuri. It's actually a question for me. So I will answer it. The first question regards quorum. If you read, unfortunately, I don't have the exact section, but it's between section 84 and section 89 of the Urban Councils Act. You will find that it gives the Minister of Local Government power to appoint a commission. And he has power to appoint a commission if a certain number of councillors is not reached. What that means is that anything above that, the councillors can run the city without a commission. Those numbers above that certain threshold are what you use to determine quorum. When you interpret a legal provision, you must interpret it in a way that it makes sense. So the Urban Councils Act says a minister can appoint a commission if councillors are below a certain number. What that means is that if councillors are above that certain number, they can dispense with council business. That means, therefore, that that number is the one that is supposed to be used to determine quorum. I have seen a legal opinion which suggests to the contrary. That legal opinion is wrong, and the way they are interpreting quorum is wrong. Quorum is determined by the number of people who are actually in those positions, and quorum is not determined by vacancies and so on. So your interpretation of quorum, Blessed, is certainly wrong. Now, I want to come to the issue of Engineer Mzuri. Engineer Mzuri has not been appointed because of benevolence. He has been appointed because he is able. He is qualified for leadership. And he has attributes that I find I need in a vice president. He has experience. He has the academic qualifications for it. And he, in my view, he has got the temperament for it. And therefore, he is valuable to leadership. But coming to the law, the constitution of the MDC says that a national council, the first national council that sits as a continuation of Congress. So we took advantage of that. We took advantage of that, and the National Council set. And the first thing that the National Council did was to effect the constitutional amendment to allow for a second vice president. Why do we want a second vice president? We want to mirror the party to the party constitution, to the national constitution. We are a government in waiting, and we have to prepare to govern. So the National Council set, and until the National Council set, Engineer Mzuri did not take up the post because there was no legal basis for him to do that. So the National Council set, and it did the constitutional amendment. And after doing the constitutional amendment, I proposed the name for Engineer Mzuri, and the council unanimously adopted it, and there was no question regarding his suitability. So his being a vice president is legal. It is in terms of a constitution. Now, if you want to go to the previous time, there was no matching constitutional amendment made before the appointment. So what we did is we had a constitutional amendment, the constitution was made, and he is a very proud vice president, and we are very proud to have him. So the other appointments, if I may just take advantage of this, the other appointments that were done to the standing committee, first, when I made the announcements earlier on, I think about 2 or 3 or so days after Congress, I did appoint those people in an acting capacity, pending their confirmation by the National Council. So the National Council set and confirmed those office holders. What that means, for example, is that Dr. Mashakada is the substantive Treasurer General, and that was done in terms of clause 9.21.3 of the MDC Constitution. So it was we have done everything according to the law.